What's up with it? You watching the Bay Bomber TV. And yeah, we about to check out this video from the YouTube channel The Black Bow. And the title is What the Cops Found in Tupac Garage After His Death Shocked Everyone. Yeah, man, that's a fool with it, man. I never heard nothing about what they found in Tupac garage, you know what I mean? And yeah, man, it seemed like it been a lot of Tupac hating going on lately, man. Like they had the best rapper in LA list and they left Pac off of that list. And then they had the best rappers in the Bay Area list of all times. They left them off that list too, man. So yeah, man, it sounds like they hating on Pac, man, you know what I mean? Yeah, if you want to make a list, man, West Coast Pac #1, man, for sure, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, seem like dudes getting a little disrespectful out there, man. But yeah, man, over here at the Bay Bomber TV, man, we thug lifing for life, man, you know what I mean? But yeah, man, I haven't checked out the video. Don't completely know what they talking about, but let's check it out and see what they talking about.
Is now investigators of Valley Homes searched in connection to the Tupac Shakur murder investigation nearly 27 years after his death.
The cops weren't ready for what they found in Tupac's garage. When investigators finally forced open that locked door in February 1997, 5 months after his murder, they expected to find expensive cars and maybe some recording equipment. What they actually discovered sitting in that sealed garage would completely change how the world understood Tupac Shakur. And more importantly, it revealed plans he'd been hiding from everyone, including the people closest to him.
Metro Police confirming they searched a home as part of their ongoing work to solve who killed the rapper and hip-hop icon.
The garage had been off limits since September 1996, trapped in legal limbo while Death Row Records, his family, and various attorneys fought over who controlled what. A judge finally ordered it open for inventory purposes. And when Detective Marcus Hendricks walked in with his team, he immediately knew something was different. This wasn't a storage space for a flashy celebrity lifestyle. The walls had soundproofing, heavy-duty shelving covered both sides, and everything was organized with labels and dates like someone running a serious operation. And what sat on that main workbench would blow apart everything people thought they knew about Tupac's final months.
Sources telling Bay News Now investigators this search involves Dwayne Davis, also known as Keith D. Davis speaking publicly about the night Tupac died in videos on YouTube and in a book.
3 thick black binders dominated the workspace, each one stuffed with hundreds of pages. The first binder contained movie scripts, but not scripts Tupac was hired to act in. These were films he planned to direct himself. Detailed production schedules, budget breakdowns, casting notes written in his own handwriting. All of it showed he'd been studying the film industry like he was preparing for a completely different career. One script called
I ain't gonna lie, man. If Tupac was writing movies, some probably was gonna be some crazy movies, man. And yeah, really, man, a lot of his lyrics could have been movies, you know what I mean? Losing Tupac so young, we probably missed out on a lot, man, for real. But he still left behind some greatness, though, you know what I mean? Music still relevant and everything. Pac gave us a lot, but I think he had a lot more to give us, though.
Angels told a story about gang intervention programs, and attached to it were actual proposals for partnering with real nonprofits and holding community screenings where ticket money would go straight back to youth programs in rough neighborhoods.
25-year-old Tupac Shakur shot 4 times inside this BMW in this intersection near the Las Vegas Strip in September 1996. He would die from his injuries 6 days later.
The second binder hit even harder. Page after page of financial records showed where Tupac's money was really going, and it wasn't on jewelry and parties like everyone assumed. Bank statements revealed monthly payments to bail funds for young people locked up on minor charges. Receipts showed he'd covered legal fees for families who couldn't afford lawyers. Wire transfer confirmations proved he donated to literacy programs, mentorship organizations, and community centers all across California, and none of it was public. No press releases. No interviews where he bragged about it, just quiet help for people who needed it. One check for...
I ain't gonna lie, man. Pac was really like a black Jesus out there, man, for real. And yeah, man, it seemed like a lot of people downplay the uplifting Tupac was trying to do, man, for real. And stuff like this is a reason a lot of rappers can't compare to Pac, you know what I mean? Dudes wasn't real as Pac, man, for real.
$50,000 went to a Watts literacy program just 3 days before he flew to Las Vegas. But the third binder contained evidence of something that would have completely changed hip-hop history if Tupac had lived long enough to pull it off.
Vanessa Murphy speaking exclusively with paramedics in 2016.
We brought the gurney up over, just pulled him out. Pulled him out. And that's when, everybody was yelling, Tupac.
Legal paperwork showed Tupac was building his own record label, totally separate from Death Row. Corporate documents dated August 1996 proved he'd already registered the name Makaveli Records, filed for trademark protection, and started talks with distributors who could move his albums without Suge Knight being involved at all. Business plans laid out how he wanted to sign young artists and mentor them, build a full production house with his own engineers and video directors, and create something that would last beyond just his own music. The evidence was clear. Tupac was planning his exit from Death Row, and he was setting up everything he needed to do it on his own terms.
I ain't gonna lie, that's a lot of controversy behind this situation, you know what I mean? And even the Outlaws say they didn't hear nothing about Pac leaving or nothing like that. But Sibo and Spice want to say Pac was supposed to sign him, you know what I mean? Personally, man, I think Pac definitely was leaving Death Row, man. Even the female rapper Marvelous say she was supposed to sign to Pac. Pac was planning on signing a lot of West Coast talent, man, for real. When it come down to Sibo's story, Pac told him not to sign to Death Row because he was gonna sign him later on, you know what I mean? And you can go look that interview up. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all think though, man. Y'all think Pac was about to leave Death Row and start his own label? Or was he gonna branch off of Death Row and Death Row was gonna be still connected to him or something? I don't know. Let me know, man.
But he's happy it's happening, and he says he hopes it'll bring some more closure to the case.
I didn't think there'd ever be any more steps taken in this case.
The cops kept digging through the garage, and that's when they found the lockbox. It sat behind the filing cabinets, steel and code locked. And after Afeni Shakur's lawyer gave them the combination, they opened it to find a stack of mini DV tapes. Each tape had a date written on it in marker, ranging from July to early September 1996. When detectives played them back at the police station, they saw Tupac sitting alone, talking directly into a camera like he was keeping a video diary. And what he said on those tapes would haunt everyone who watched them, because Tupac knew something bad was coming.
It's 27 years old. I can tell you exactly why it happened. It's happened because of Keith E.D. running his mouth.
The video entry showed a completely different person than the aggressive figure in music videos. Tupac talked about being exhausted, feeling trapped by his own image, and knowing that the life he was living couldn't continue much longer. He discussed wanting to move to Ghana and make films about Black history without Hollywood's filters. He mentioned plans to write a book about political change and activism, something young people could actually use. In one video from September 3rd, just 4 days before he got shot, Tupac said he felt like he was living on borrowed time, not because of enemies or beef with other rappers, but because everything was moving too fast and he was losing control. Those tapes proved Tupac was trying to figure out how to escape the persona he'd created. He'd built this image of the fearless thug who didn't care about consequences, but privately, he was mapping out a future that looked nothing like that. The contrast was shocking, and investigators realized they were watching someone who desperately wanted out, but hadn't figured out how to leave without destroying everything he'd worked for. Then they saw the BMW sitting on the hydraulic lift in the back, and everything suddenly made terrifying sense.
Probably didn't really know it was going to have any historical significance. At that point, it was fixed and then sold to the general public, probably at an auction, something like that.
The car was a black BMW 750iL, the exact same model Tupac had been riding in when he got shot in Las Vegas. But this one was pristine, never driven, and registration documents showed he'd bought it 3 weeks before his death. The keys were in the workbench drawer with a handwritten note that said, "Exit plan, New York or Ghana. Decide by October."
Man.
Investigators opened the trunk and found 2 large duffel bags packed with items that made their blood run cold. Inside those bags were passports, one real and one that looked fake with a different name on it.
That's crazy right there. So yeah, Pac didn't fake his death. It seemed like he was planning on running away and getting up out of there or something, you know what I mean? I ain't gonna lie, man, the mystery continues for real with this one.
$80,000 in cash, vacuum sealed in plastic bags, international phone cards, a handwritten list of contacts in Jamaica, Cuba, and several African countries. More financial documents showed Tupac had been quietly converting his assets to cash and moving money into offshore accounts that death row couldn't touch. Every piece of evidence pointed to the same conclusion: Tupac Shakur was preparing to disappear, and this BMW was supposed to be the getaway car. But what investigators found under the driver's seat would raise questions that still don't have answers, even today.
But recently, Keefe D has written a book and made TV appearances detailing his involvement in Tupac's death.
A small leather journal contained entries from the week before the shooting. Tupac wrote about feeling watched, convinced someone was tracking his movements and monitoring what he was planning. He mentioned worries about death row's criminal connections and a growing fear that he'd become a liability to dangerous people. The entry from September 5th, 2 days before he died, talked about how he tried to cancel the Las Vegas trip multiple times but felt pressured to go anyway, even though his gut told him to stay away. The final entry was dated the morning of September 7th, 1996, the day he was shot.
I ain't gonna lie. Yeah, I never put the coincidence together. But yeah, man, this kind of seemed like the Big situation too. Yeah, man, I didn't heard people say that Big didn't even want to go to LA, you know what I mean? And basically when he was out there, it was like he was forced to stay there. They say he was supposed to leave and had a flight to go somewhere or something like that. And allegedly Puff talked him into staying in LA or something, you know what I mean? So yeah, it seemed like Pac could have felt like he was forced to go to Vegas or something, man.
One sentence written in Tupac's handwriting: "If tonight goes wrong, the BMW knows where to take them. Keys under the seat, package in the trunk. Tell mom I tried." That single line suggested Tupac had arranged for someone else to use that BMW if something happened to him, possibly to get his mother and family out of danger. But whoever that person was never came forward after the shooting, and the car just sat in police evidence storage for years.
Bragging that he's the one who handed Orlando Anderson a gun, and subsequently that gun is used to shoot Tupac.
The garage discovery changed everything about how people understood Tupac's final days. He wasn't just living recklessly and waiting for something bad to happen. He was actively planning an escape, building a new business, preparing for a completely different life, and trying to protect the people he loved if it all fell apart. The binders full of business plans, the video diaries, the secret BMW with cash and fake passports, none of it matched the public image of the fearless rapper who courted danger. So what does all of this really mean? And why did Tupac feel like he needed an escape plan in the first place? The evidence suggests Tupac was caught between two worlds. He'd created this larger-than-life persona that made him famous and kept him relevant. But that same persona was destroying him. The death row lifestyle, the conflicts, the constant pressure to be the hardest and most fearless, it was all becoming too much. He wanted to transform into something different, someone who made films and helped communities and built lasting institutions, but he didn't know how to make that shift without losing everything.
So he's openly saying that he's, a significant part of this whole murder. How many times are you going to go on TV and say that before somebody's going to have to take some sort of action?
The philanthropic work he'd been doing in secret proved he cared deeply about lifting people up, even while his music and public image suggested otherwise. The record label plan showed he understood the business well enough to build something independent. The video diaries revealed someone who was self-aware and thoughtful, not the reckless thug the media portrayed. And that BMW with the escape plan showed he knew the danger was real and escalating. When investigators closed their report on the garage contents, they noted that Tupac Shakur's death wasn't just the loss of a talented artist. It was the destruction of a carefully planned transformation that could have changed hip-hop completely. All those binders and tapes in that secret BMW, they weren't just possessions. They were evidence of a future that never happened, a second act that got erased on a Las Vegas street 5 months before anyone even knew he was planning it.
If they can match him up and say, wow, these are the same type of rounds that are in Tupac, obviously that kicks things up considerably. Will that happen? I think probably not 26 years later, but certainly it's something that they're going to have to take a look at.
The garage kept Tupac's secret safe until it was too late to matter. And now, looking back at everything the cops found in there, You have to wonder what hip hop would look like today if Tupac had made it to October, if he'd executed that exit plan, if he'd driven that BMW to the airport and disappeared to Ghana like he'd written about. The world lost more than just a rapper that night in 1996. It lost all the possibilities that were packed into those duffel bags and written in those binders, locked away in a garage nobody was supposed to see. Subscribe, like, and comment.
Yeah, man, that's a fool with it, man. Yeah, I didn't expect that video to have so much in it, but man, that was an interesting video, man. And yeah, man, the mystery continue for real, though. Yeah, that was some significant content right there, man. Probably need to go and fact check some of that stuff, man, for real. But yeah, man, it seemed like Pac had a big plan, man. And I ain't gonna lie, as far as the music, man, I think Pac was smart and he knew what he was doing when he was pitting out that reckless, crazy music. You know what I'm saying? I think he was just trying to get the crazy crowd too. You know what I mean? Yeah, man, I think he was gonna convert back to that powerful Black Panther type music, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, he ran out of time, man. I think he had big plans for the black communities, man, and black people in general, man, for real. Yeah, man, let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe. You watching the Baby Bomber TV. Thanks for watching. Thanks for supporting. Until next time. All right.